Should I come in straight?
Hey everybody, welcome to our live session. It is amazing to be tuning in with you guys from our home. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We've got an exciting session planned, a little bit of structure to it. It is all going to be around Abbie Bikes Britain. Anna's going to be joining me in a moment. She's just frantically sorting out the final names and things we've got planned for our giveaways. So tonight's session is essentially going to have a few focuses. We're here to recap the story that was Abbie Bikes Britain. If you're unfamiliar with what Abbie Bikes Britain is, don't worry, all will be revealed very clearly. We're going to be telling the stories from Scotland right down to Land's End in a little bit of detail to sort of give you guys an inside clue to what's been going on. We are going to be running our giveaway today as well. So we have a number of things to give away essentially, and the aim of that is to help fundraise for Abbie Bikes Britain, and as I say, Anna will be with me in a short while. She's just finalizing some sorting stuff because it really is our story to tell and our project to be running together. So before I jump in any further with the likes of Abbie Bikes Britain, I'd like to just sort of extend a warm welcome to you all. I know that since we set off on the 30th of August, Wild has morphed and changed, and different people have joined and some people have left, and that's absolutely fine. It's just the ebbs and flows of life. But hello and welcome wherever you're tuning in. And actually, where are you tuning in from? It'd be really nice to have some interaction on the side. So maybe just let us know where you're tuning in from today, where you're living, how your day has gone, sort of 1 to 10, 1 being not so good, 10 being absolutely fantabby-dozy. And then hopefully we can just all build a little bit of connection over that. And if you are new to Wild, the fundamental purpose of Wild is to help inspire and empower people to get outside for mental and physical health and to build connections with each other and with the natural worlds. And obviously, being sat inside, this is an element of building connection with each other. But then, of course, we're going to be talking about nature and being outside in nature and the power of nature as well. So thanks for everybody who's commenting on the side. We're hopefully going to have a few sort of more interactive questions as we go along as well within this session. But the next thing I'd like to pose to you is, would you define yourself as more of a hiker or a cyclist? Because Wild has begun as a YouTube channel which is predominantly focused on hiking, and I know some people did not like or approve of the fact that sort of ended up shifting into this whole cycling realm. And what we want to do today is shed some light on that and what Abbie Bikes Britain is doing to bring together the package that is Wild as a picture. So basically, Abbie Bikes Britain was an idea that popped into my head, not called Abbie Bikes Britain, but it was based around joggle and le jog. So le jog is Land's End to John O'Groats, and joggle is John O'Groats to Land's End. It's always such a mouthful. Joggle is so much easier to say. And I was very interested by this route, the conventional ways to cycle it. Usually takes between 9 and 14 days, whether you go north to south or south to north. It's quite a linear route. And I've been interested by that. More and more people have started hiking it as the official hiking route has opened in the last year or so, which is really exciting. But for me, as a long distance hiker, many of you guys have been following my journey, and I found it harder and harder to backpack long distance. Because yes, COVID, that put a stop to some things, like many of us. But additionally, I have this issue in my back and my neck, which is just an ongoing trauma. I won't bore you with the details, but essentially it's making carrying things very, very difficult, and certainly has been. And so with lockdown and with this pain that I was dealing with, I sort of ended up cycling more. We moved here to the property we're in now on the edge of Exmoor, and cycling was a nice way to keep fit, get outside, explore the area, and deal with the fact that we were in lockdown. And it was on a cycle that I sort of had this idea that popped into my head, which later became Abbie Bikes Britain. And it was a cycle from John O'Groats to Land's End, that direction, because home here is in the southwest, so it made sense to sort of cycle home, via each of the UK's 15 national parks. So to reel them off, that's the Cairngorms, it's the Trossachs, it's Northumberland, it's the Lake District, Yorkshire Dales, North York Moors, the Broads, the Peak District, Snowdonia, Pembrokeshire Coast, Brecon Beacons, South Downs, New Forest, Exmoor and Dartmoor. That is 15 national parks and their highest points. So that's exactly what we set out to do. That is myself and Anna on the 30th of August of this year. In fact, actually the 28th, because we picked up the van on the 28th. So we I don't want to jump into the story completely just yet because I want to do that with Anna. But the purpose of Abbie Bikes Britain was, yes, to have a rather grand adventure, and we certainly ticked that box. But it was also much more than that. So we wanted to bring forward all of the true core values of Wild, which are that there is power in community, that getting outside can help boost feelings of mental well-being, that acting and stepping into stewarding roles that involve conserving the environment and protecting the landscapes that we so love and treasure can help empower and boost feelings of meaning and purpose. And so we teamed up with National Parks UK, who obviously oversee this network of national parks across the country. Even though they're all run by their own sort of steering authorities, National Parks UK is like the head, the boss, and they make sort of the biggest decisions, I believe, about the country as a whole. And they sort of put us in touch with different national parks, and we started finding out more about, you know, how heavily used these parks were, what made them special, what threats were they facing. And what we really uncovered was that all of these different parks had such different stories to tell, and yet there was a common theme threaded the entire way through about how we can help to protect and conserve these beautiful spaces. I feel, and I think we feel, it's very easy for us to take these natural spaces for granted and to also assume that they are wild, that they're just left to their own devices. But the truth could not be any further from that. The reality is the fact that these, and the fact that pretty much the whole country is very man-managed. We are in a very cultivated landscape, whatever it looks like. It looks very different in many places to how it would have looked in its wild and natural states. And what the national parks are trying to do in many cases is to manage these wild spaces so that they can be used for recreational activities, whether it's hiking or biking or water sports or horse riding or whatever it might be, to be used for farming and agriculture, whether that's crops or livestock, to be used by communities. That's sort of the cultural heritage, people living there. You've got market towns, you've got little hamlets, you've got sometimes historical cities that are within the national park boundaries, and of course, to create space for wildlife. We've had a lot of conversations about what is rewilding in its truest sense. Is it actually just creating space for nature and calling that it? Or is it actually bringing us back in as a part of nature as well? We've had some awesome conversations with smaller mental health charities along the journey, such as Black Dog Outdoors and a few others in more remote settings, about what they're doing to help people get outside and the power of being out in nature for mental well-being. Yes, that's definitely tied into, you know, being around trees, hearing the wind in the leaves, or sat by a river, or looking out on this beautiful coastal landscape. But another part of that and being out in nature is that it really inspires us and almost forces us to connect with other people as well. I think many of you guys, especially having just seen how many of you said that you're hikers, can identify with the fact that when you're on the trail, you walk past someone, you say, hi, how are you doing? Where are you off to? You know, how far are you doing today? I say, oh, nice weather. You go back to a town or a city and it's sort of everybody's heads down. You don't look at each other and you just sort of carrying on with your own life in your own little bubble. And that is the amazing thing I feel about the outdoor community, is it is a community simply by being outdoors. And that is one of the amazing things we've wanted to focus on with this project. So yes, I have been cycling the entire way, or as much of the way as it's humanly possible. Anna has been driving and sort of running the show behind the scenes. And then what we've also been doing when we've been reaching the national parks, we've been hiking to the highest point, and in those walks, we opened up the doors for anybody to join us. We had a booking system so we could have a small number of people who could hike with us for the day. So to run through the highest points within each national park, we had Ben Macdui in the Cairngorms, we had Ben Moor in the Trossachs, we had the Cheviot in Northumberland, we had Scarfell Pike in the Lake District, Whernside in the Yorkshire Dales, Urramore in the North York Moors, the Broads. Well, there's a controversial one. There wasn't a particularly high point, so we kind of just made up a boat and boot day, which was really good fun. More on that later. The Peak District was the Kinder Plateau. Again, not a particular high point, but just this extended, vast, boggy plateau that was the highest point of the Peak District. Kinder Low, I think, is one of the official points up there, actually. Then we had Snowdon in Scarfell Pike. We had, oh no. Now I have to try and say the Pembrokeshire Coast one. Foel Quimwiwo. Crimverin. That's Anna's one. Pembrokeshire Coast, highest point. Very nice place, actually. I can testify to that. Penofan, can say that one, for the Brecon Beacons. We had Black Downhill in the South Downs. Piper's Waite in the New Forest, Dunkery Beacon in Exmoor, and High Willhays in Dartmoor. Jeez, that's a mouthful. And then we concluded with the Lizard Point and Land's End. So what was special about this project, or these walks rather, is they're just so different to an ordinary group walk that you might book on, I don't know, through Meetup or some other outdoor site, community sites. And I think, you know, we've pondered this for a while because, you know, we'd always come off these walks with a fantastic high, having met just incredible individuals, heard some serious life stories, and just felt very inspired and humbled to have been in the presence of such, I don't know, awesome people, you know, and that was the whole trip round. And I think, I'm sure Anna's got her own things to add to this, and she's not far away now. She's frantically folding pieces of paper. But we really believe that Wild is a community. It's a safe space. It's a supportive space. It's an inspirational space where anybody is welcome, no matter your past, your challenges, your difficulties, no matter your story, no matter your beliefs. Like, we set aside the differences and come together with our common trueness that is that we are just all one humanity. We're all one people, you know. And people would come on these walks, and it's just like these barriers which would normally be there, you know, like that you're going to the town or the city and you don't say hi to anybody. They're just gone, and it's just everybody connects like they're friends from years around. And it was just amazing, and we'll dive into that a little bit more. But what I want to do is just sort of divert just for a few moments whilst Anna finishes getting ready, and then come back to the project. So I mentioned at the beginning, one of the reasons why we want to do this live session today is to finally run our giveaways. So the things which we are offering today have officially toured the country with us, because we'd hoped to be doing many more live sessions whilst we were on the trip. But what we found is it was completely impractical due to the lack of signal and due to the lack of time, shall we say. I mean, 7 o'clock on the trip it was almost bedtime, hey? And so we sort of put it back, and now that we're home, we are really ready to do this giveaway. And as I say, we have been fundraising for this project. It's a non-for-profit project. We are shooting 3 documentary films, or have shot 3 documentary films of Abbie Bikes Britain, to highlight the different subjects and topics which I've just briefly skimmed over there. And they are currently in edit and will be released when we're ready for them to be released. We're very excited about that. And hopefully there'll be a lot more sort of media accompaniment with what we're producing there as well. But we're about halfway raising our funds to see this project through to the way that we are looking to see it through. And we're so grateful for everybody that's donated. Having just gone through our GoFundMe and PayPal page today, it's like, geez, there's a lot of people. So super humbled and endless gratitude to you guys. But what we wanted to do is just run this giveaway, one final chance for people to get their name in the pot, and hopefully have it drawn out with the chance of winning some snazzy prizes. So if you did not see my my Facebook and Instagram video as of yesterday, I sort of shared the things that we were giving away, and I'm going to go through them now quickly. And basically, if you want to just listen to me rabbit on and get your name in the pot, we are opening up our GoFundMe campaign one last time. If you donate £15 or more, your name will go in the pot, and all of that money, the entire £15, goes straight into the project and helps us finish funding the filmmaking and everything else that we've put into the pot to see this project from end to end. So the GoFundMe link is here. It's nice and easy to use. And the super cool thing, I think, about what we're doing here actually is if you donate £15, you get your name in once. If you donate £15 again, you get your name in twice, and so on it goes. So hopefully, if you're really buzzing about some of these prizes, get your name in a couple of times and hopefully you'll win something. So for me, just to run through the things that we've got coming up then, we have got here a Terra Nova Elite 200 sleeping bag. Really nice, brand new, obviously. Compact is actually where I was trying to go with that. Sleeping bag here. It weighs in at 825 grams and it's 210 centimeters long, in case you're wondering how long it is. Packs down into 9.5 by 6 inches. And the nice thing about this is the comfort limit is about 7 degrees. So it's a perfect sort of autumnal sleeping bag. I mean, look at that. Shove that in the bottom of your pack. That is It's quite nice, actually. If I put it there, it looks big, but if I put it over here, look how little it is. That, my friends, is perspective. So sleeping bag, we're giving that one away. I have been working closely with Terra for the last 6, 8, 12 months, actually. Really love their value. So much of their stuff is designed and made in the UK. They have the return system. If something is broken, you can send it back to them and they'll fix it up for you, or send you another one at a reduced price. So, you know, they're really trying to do their bit for the environment, keeping things local. They've got a lot of other things going on as well. So sleeping bag is up for grabs. Then I have some of these very special wild guides. I love these, actually. I think they're very interesting. They have a number of purposes for me and being a thing. I think one is the fact that there is such a time and place for a book, right? So essentially what's inside of these is, you know, we've got here broken down Scandinavia into the islands, the mainlands, into lakes and mountains and forests and everything you could ever want to do outside in a book. So you don't have to go onto a screen. You can pack a picnic, you can walk out somewhere, sit by a stream with your picnic, with your brew, and you can read this book and dream up some future adventures without technology. So these are super cool, and hopefully they'll just really be able to inspire you in Scandinavia and in Scotland to get out adventuring. So Scotland, again, is broken down into the coast, the islands, just everything, really. Wildlife, mountains, what else have we got? Wild swimming, glens, ancient remains and ruins, of course, there's archaeology. Food, wild camping and bodies, it is all in there. So I have these two up for grabs, as well as a sleeping bag. Let's plonk them down somewhere. Next up is a little bit random, but also not. Also, I'm missing something. I need to find the through notes. Would you be able to grab the through notes from the office? Sorry about that. So next up, we have this really cool book. So I have thoroughly digested this, loved it, and I've decided this is a new one that I wanted to purchase one as a giveaway. So I was given this as a gift, and I think it's really nice. It was a great gift, so I bought one to give away as a gift. So this is Shinru Yoku. In case you're unfamiliar with that phrase, it means forest bathing. It's a term that's come up in Japan, essentially about the power of trees and how awesome they are for us being out in them. You know, they've created parks that are just forests and really designed with that feng shui, you know, to really boost feelings of well-being and health and calm and all the good stuff. So, excuse me. It's a great little book, really nice big print. Beautiful visuals and pictures. It's scientific, but not so much that it's overwhelming. Very, very educational, very insightful. And hopefully you'll really enjoy this, whoever wins it. It's a really nice sort of coffee table book, but also bedside table. Having a little read of that, getting yourself in some trees. Happy days. Okay, up next, we have some really exciting things, actually. So we are big lovers of Cicerone Press. They develop guidebooks essentially for adventures, hikes, cycles all around the world. And they have just celebrated their 50th year anniversary. How incredible is that? And they have supplied us with 6 of these beautiful hardback books. So these are just stunning. And essentially they're filled with stories of their authors, the adventures that they've been on, the places they've gone, the things they've tackled. And again, it's another coffee table book with stunning imagery, inspirational tales from hiking and biking and climbing and all the things, from the Alps to Scotland to Asia and South America. There you go, you've got a map there. Oh, I love these books. They're just great. Smell nice as well. So we have 6 of these books. There'll be 6 lucky winners of these books. And the final prize that we have, Anna is just finding for me because I accidentally forgot to put them. Yes, they are in the wicker basket on the shelves. So in the wicker basket on the shelves, currently being transported here. Are you ready to come in? By my wonderful assistant and partner in life, it's Anna. Do you like our jumper? It's new. I really like it. So here she is.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Anna. There you go. So I'll just quickly do this, then we'll jump in, yeah? So the final things we're giving away are these super snazzy, do you want to demonstrate too? Book creations. She's done the whole catwalk thing, I haven't. How do you do it?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Woo!
See, she knows what I'm doing. Or she's doing. So these are through notes. So Russell Hepton, the trail guide, he's another YouTuber, awesome dude. He developed these after coming back with a super rough time on the PCT. He didn't let that crush him. He didn't let COVID crush him. He didn't let people's abuse that was thrown his way crush him. He got creative. I have so much respect for this man. He created through notes completely by himself. So these are essentially little notebooks that are designed and printed in England. They have completely recyclable everythingness. The ink within them is environmentally sensitive. And they're just an awesome thing to take on your trip. They're waterproof, tearproof, and recyclable. These are mine. Check this out. Oh. They are tearproof, but I teared it. It says tearproof. Never mind. I'm just strong. But they're not tearproof. It worked the other day. Sorry, Russell. You can't predict that. How did I do that? Maybe because they've been in our damp house for so long. Right, anyway, I hate live sessions.
You went for it there, like.
Well, it's just what he does, and I did it with this one, and it was fine. Everyone's laughing. These are really great books. I love these, genuinely.
And I mean, if you're going for one of those, the way Abbie just did, you want to destroy it. You're gonna find a way to break it.
Yeah,
but
I so hope Russell's not watching this. No one tell him, okay? We are a community. What happens in wild stays in wild. That's made my day. Oh, great. I can't go too much or my cough gets bad. Well, anyway, there are 4.
Okay, let me demonstrate it. I can't tear them apart.
No, she can't. Maybe it's meant to be that way. I should have done
that. Just leave it now, okay?
Well, so
we're giving those away.
Yes, not this one. This is mine. We have 4. So there's 4 books essentially that he's created. What are they called? The Through.
The Explore. Mm-hmm. So they have different prints inside. You probably can't really see. This is only dotted. What do you call this? Like an architect's paper, right? Mm. Then you have the Sketch, which is blank pages. The Blaze, which has lines, and
this one's also dots, but it's slightly different on the surrounding border as to what you can do with it. Mm. So basically we have 4 packs of 4 to give away as well. Really excited to do the giveaway. So don't forget, if you'd like to be entered, I completely screwed it up. If you'd like to be entered into our draw, you can donate via our via our GoFundMe page, which is here, coming on the side now. Bear with. As Miranda says, bear with. There we go. Cool. Through that. I know many of you want to see Bobby. I have dropped, excuse me, I've dropped Bobby off at my dad's, hence why David Barnes there is saying Bobby says hi. You'll have to excuse my cough. We've moved back into our cold, damp house, and it's really aggravated my lungs, unfortunately. Thank you very much. It's not COVID. I've had many tests. I'm absolutely fine. Tea is good. So I think if we chat for a bit, and then we'll come on to the giveaway if you're good for that.
Yeah.
How are you?
Tired. We've had obviously an awesome adventure, but it's been very, very tiring overall. And coming back, it was not that we had time off really straight away, because we had to drive the van back, and then we had to go and do our post-trip interviews with the film crew, and it was all just a lot, as you can imagine. The house was a bombshell. We're only getting to a point where it's all nice and cozy again, and overall I'm just ready for winter snuggles.
Yeah.
Aww. How about you?
Can I let them in on what we've been watching? Secret?
Absolutely.
Well, we started the trip, and the first month and a half really, we had so little downtime. we had a few.
So little is quite an exaggeration. It was kind of -10.
Yeah, it really was. We had 2-3 rest days factored in, I believe, on the first sort of 2/3, and we never used them as rest days. Like, it was admin days. It was go do this. Like, I'd cycle a little bit just to knock off some mileage. Yada yada yada. Filming, whatever. And then we had one. I think we can say we had one rest day on the whole trip that actually counted, and that was when we just gone through Bath. And it was just outside Bath, this place called Orchard Farm campsite. And that was a really nice day, wasn't it? And I think it was there that we started to watch Downton Abbey on Netflix. So, geez, sorry everybody. So it was that was quite nice. We used it as a bit of escapism, I think, possibly a little bit of numbing at a few points. And since coming home, we've watched a little bit of Downton here and there. We're trying to be quite strict with ending our days at a reasonable time. Then somehow it still ends up getting quite late.
I don't find it too late.
She sleeps much later than me. Yeah. My ideal is definitely 9:30, and then wake up.
I'm okay with
6:30.
10:30. Yeah.
10:30 I can work with, but it's not my ideal. 11:30. You don't want to know me. So yeah, Downton Abbey, and then
My
also
life.
last night. Sad. Why?
But considering our bedtime, you know, that's what you're saying, right? So
I just noticed the hole in my sock. And then last night we decided to eat dumplings.
switch it up a little bit, because Downton can get quite daunting.
Just quite heavy, eh?
Yeah. It can just not bring the lightness back where we wanted. So you had the idea, and I got quite excited because I've eyed it out on the trip that the bake-off started.
Whey!
And we left it for our return to start watching it.
So good. This live session is not going my way.
Should I get you that oil?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having to use oil on my chest. No, I think I'll be okay. Bear with. Just delete that section.
So we are back into Bake Off heaven, and it is very good.
Yeah, Bake Off is good. Hey.
Yeah.
So that's our filming life. But let's or rather show life. Let's chat about the trip. So we wanted to sort of just give you a bit of story time in a sort of a nice way that's not too intricate and detailed, but this sort of just tells the story a little bit of how things went, what we sort of started to learn along the journey. Obviously, we're still digesting a huge amount. We had pretty much, I think, our first conversation today about the project, which was interesting. Much more of that to come. But so we picked up the van on the 28th. If you were to summarize in one word what you were feeling on the 28th on the way to the van, what was it?
Excitement.
Really? Buzzing.
Why? What is it for you?
Yeah, I would say the same.
No, you can't say the same.
Okay. Buzzing.
No, it was really just exciting. I think both of us were at a point where we wanted to finally get on with it, and that shift was just great. It was absolutely exciting. And
yeah, we had a bit of a kerfuffle with Anna's car, unfortunately, a few days before, as well as a few other things. But the 3 months leading up to the 28th were tough, but we did it. We did the best that we could, and I celebrate that, absolutely. I have I don't know. I don't have any bad feelings about the time building up. We could have done a lot of things differently. I could have done a lot of things differently. I was a different person then, you know? And that's why I sort of just look at it as like, well, it was what it was, did what we could. And I feel like we really did do our best. So I have no bad feelings about that at all.
Well, it's always easier to look back and in hindsight do things differently, but the truth is you're only at that point because you went through everything, right?
And that's it. And human nature is to criticize. I don't really want to criticize myself, like constructive, sure, but you know, why not make some fun out of it rather than be like, why didn't you do this, you fool? So anyway, what happened with Anna's car was, it's your car, you tell the story.
What happened with my car?
Well, it went to the garage very wisely. So we had 2 camera guys who we were working with, okay? brothers, and in order to just help us slightly with the cost of mileage, Anna put them on her car
I decided
insurance.
to just put them on my car insurance. And well, I put the car in the garage to have the brakes checked because they were a bit squeaky.
Yeah.
Turned out that that my gearbox was ready to go. So the guy in the garage just said, well, before you invest any money in the brakes, wait, just the gearbox is going to go before the brakes. So just, go for it. And I said, well, is it safe to kind of drive and everything? Because we have this trip coming up and we're leaving tomorrow. And he said, well, it might as well make it up and down, might also give up at some point. So we just decided to go for it. Everybody was informed.
Everybody was cool with it.
Yep.
Got to have an adventure on an adventure, right?
Exactly.
The car did not make it home. Well, it did. It's in the garage down the road. I just want to jump in. Roger, hi. We never got to say goodbye to you after you came on our Exmoor walk, and we have talked about that a lot. So, hi, bye. Hi. Now we've said bye. Here's a hug.
Exactly.
Okay, so cool. Excitement. So we drove up in 2 cars, not the most environmental thing we've ever done, but it needed to be done. So my car could be left in the unfortunate situation that Anna's car would not make it home. Did not. Good move. We picked up the van, which was a super cool van. You've probably all seen the pictures, certainly on the outside. We have recorded a van tour and our first impressions of van life. That's to be edited once certainly I am easing more into wild. I'm taking it very steady right now because there's so much. I just have to cherry pick so that it's sustainable. And we then spent 2 days driving north, hey? So we drove up to Glasgow on the first day, the 28th. Stayed in a very random Airbnb, which I'll never forget because there was a spider the size of my palm on the floor. And that was very interesting. And then the final day, we drove up to Thurso, which is pretty much the northernmost town. So other way for you guys. Are you watching this way or is it that way? I don't actually know.
I think this way.
So reversed.
Yeah, looking at
guys, question. Am I on the right or the left of your screen? So anyway, there's Thurso. There is then Dunnet Head, which is the northernmost point, and Groats, which like Land's End is just this rather ambiguous spot that we checked out actually on the day that we arrived. So I'm on the left. So it's reversed. Cheeky. Just learned something there. So if I showed was the books all backwards? Bizarre.
No, it shouldn't be.
Oh, I don't understand physics.
You
know that thing you're taught at school
on the right,
where it's shut up. You know that thing at school where it's they teach you in physics the chair is pushing against you. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm just sat on it.
Are you sitting on it?
I'm sat on it. Anyway, so right.
Oh, I love my contribution.
So helpful.
I'm trying.
So we that night before the beginning, we had a little walk on the beach, saw some jellyfish, which was cool.
It was really nice actually, just having a couple of hours to arrive and kind of take in and give space to what was about to happen. Because even beforehand, it's not like Abbie and I had a lot of time to actually realize what we were about to do.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I don't necessarily find conversations in cars that easy. I want to be doing face to face, So we had all that driving time. And
a lot of Lion King.
A lot of Lion King. Excuse me with this whole thing that's going on. Right. So we got there, had a lovely evening, had some good sweet potato. And in the morning we woke up. What were you feeling then?
I think I was a little bit stressed just to get everything done in time, to get out of the place in time and have everything packed up again. Everything was still really all over the place. It's not like we had given ourselves a lot of time to sort the van. So it was just all shoved in the van, and
no system as of yet.
No.
Yeah.
None.
Because we didn't stay in the van that night. We'd booked an Airbnb so that we could do interviews. We could just have some proper downtime. Last night in a bed sort of thing, shower, yada yada. I think it's worth mentioning as well, actually, a lot of people are familiar with the landscapes through it, the national parks are that we moved through. But not everybody is familiar with how the landscape is up there. How would you describe what it was like driving up the A9 as it shifted and changed? We had that coastal road, and then what happened?
It was weirdly flat, I would say, up there, and very remote. I felt it was so out there.
Yeah.
And rough. Yeah. Like very exposed. And I mean, we were lucky with the weather, obviously, but it was, I don't know, I found it beautiful, but it was very different to anything further south. And I would say, to a certain extent, I could compare it to the north of Germany, just really close to the coast, where there's not much really there, because the winds and the coast are too strong for things to grow very tall.
I think that's the thing. Like, you may not know the intricate details of how wildlife works in connection to weather systems, but you can see straight up, geez, there's not many trees, you know. Yeah. And why is that? Well, because there's relentless wind, you know.
And there's like all of the buildings are pretty much bungalows. And,
it's just brown, you know. It's a lot of sort of boggy, not necessarily wet boggy, but you know what I mean, sort of marshy landscapes. Really, as you say, beautiful, and big open skies, and very magical almost, you know, like another land. Like, you're looking across the Orkney and it's like, wow, like this is, you feel so separate from the UK, hey? Like,
you just feel on edge, in the sense of, that's it, there's nothing more. And I don't feel it down south, because I feel there's just a little bit, and then there's Europe, whereby up there it's more open.
Yeah. And you know that you're looking north to a few islands and then just ocean. It's not like looking from the south coast. It's like, oh, France is over there.
Yeah.
You know?
And we can see it.
Yeah. On a good day. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very different. And that was something that struck us immediately, almost more than the weight of the project in some ways, that we were just in this foreign land and about to become very familiar with it, or certainly I was. Yeah. Falling off into the grass on a number of occasions, trying out my clipped-in shoes. So yeah, then there we were. We went back to John Groats that first day. This is actually slightly more detailed than I planned, but never mind. Because the day before hadn't gone to plan. We wanted to get an ice cream, didn't. They were shut. Saw some more jellyfish. That was fun. And then we went to Dunnet Head, and that's actually where we started from. So it was sort of a countdown from 10 to 1. Before that, I met at Westie, which is very significant and special, and that will feature if there's ever a written version of the story. And that was it. We were going from the northernmost point of mainland Britain, heading south. It was such a good feeling. How did you feel when
I felt so excited for you, because I could obviously, from Dunnet Head, I could see you just whizzing down that first like little hill situation.
It was good, hey? Downhill as well.
No, and I was just, I was very chuffed that we were there, and that we had, you know, finally started something, well, what we had prepared. So for, well, not such a long time, but such a long time.
I feel like, you know, we could have, in hindsight, done a year's worth of work for this, but in some ways, like, it wouldn't have been the trip that it was if we. No. It would have been much more regimented.
And it's, you know, it's definitely arguable whether we would have been able to learn as much in such a short time.
It's 5 months overall. And that's it, like, done.
And 2 of those months were on
the road.
project.
That's what I mean. So nuts, eh?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So let's just, if you're happy, we'll just fast forward. So now we're going to zoom out because that was a very intricate bit about the beginning, and literally we'll be here till 10 p.m. and we have food to eat, people. So we always food.
Priorities.
So let's talk about Scotland. So I've already mentioned there's the Cairngorms and the Trossachs. If you're happy, I'll just run through a few things that stuck out for me, and then you jump in. So just some very key things for me in Scotland. Just the first day was really special. I'm never going to forget that, the feelings of that. I'm sliding down, and sorry, it's quite comfortable, but it doesn't look great, does it? And then I remember I had my first sort of real flustered moment, which was a couple of days later, heading into Inverness. Over Inverness Bridge. I somehow found myself on the dual carriageway, which was actually essential to get over the Inverness Bridge. But I was very uncomfortable with being on the big roads. I was so unprepared for popping out onto it. And I think that's the thing. I had very little sort of mental preparation time for that. Anna was actually very close behind, thankfully. So she stayed behind with her hazard lights on and sort of stopped me from being run over. So that was grand. Went over the bridge, came off the other side, and I'm still trying to unpick what really happened, but it was quite panicked and flustered. And then the boys weren't there to film it, so we had to go through and do it again. So Anna drives me up. There were some Westies, always Westies at the right moments on this trip, honestly. They are just the theme. So Anna made me say hi to the Westies. You can see the theme here. Anna makes me do this. Anna makes me do that. It's quite helpful, actually. And then this time I go back over on the cycle path, which I had missed the first time round, and it was much better than the dual carriageway. Highly recommend that. So that was a bit of a moment. You know, the first time, I think the first, other than actually getting to the start of the project, the first facing of the emotional stuff that would bubble up, and that's really, you know, what threatened to stop the project over and over and over again. And that was my first, like, well, you're there, gonna just jump over you and carry on, or whatever, bulldoze through in that situation. Another thing that really stood out for me about Scotland was the moment that I reached the Cairngorms National Park sign. It was the first national park sign that I reached. I was actually by myself because it was on a cycle path, and I don't even know the word to describe how that felt. Like I was saying hi to somebody, we were just chatting, and then I look over, it's like, whoa, there it is. I'm like, I've cycled here from here to here, and what? It was just incredible, you know. And I felt proud, you know. I felt proud of myself, and that's not a word that I can use very much with my life. I don't feel proud of much, but I felt proud then. I feel proud of this project. So that was just really special, you know. And then the rest of Scotland, we had some really great experiences, and I'll let you take over and see what you want to add to that.
I can only agree to that. It was, I think the Cairngorms was super exciting because we also had our first group walk, and it just was this first.
Where was that?
Ben McDoy. Is this a questionnaire?
I just want you to set the scene.
Okay.
Ben McDoy.
It was just the first time that we were sort of really seeing other people on the project, and it just added a different layer of reality. Having the first National Park Authority is with us, and just being absolutely blessed with the weather.
That was a day.
It was just absolutely gorgeous, and it continued for both of us, I would say, going into the Trossachs, where we had you can get you can see a theme here coming up for me as well. My surprises didn't stay surprises on this trip. I wanted to surprise Abbie with having Bobby up there, and it just turned out being sort of part of the conversation in the whole planning.
It was a surprise how it went, though.
It was
very cute.
Yeah, and that was very cute, and overall definitely a highlight of the trip. And
that
really
picture we have of Bobby, like, so we stayed at my dad's partner's house, Alison, massive shout out, awesome human. And yeah, big love. And anyway, they put together this whole birthday thing, eh? What did they make?
She made little cupcakes, and Bobby had a cupcake with little sardines sticking in.
So disgusting, but really appropriate.
Yeah.
He loves his little sardine fish things. Not.
Yeah. So we had a good little birthday party there, and then had another just awesome walk up with a beautiful group of people at Dartmoor.
Yeah.
And I think it's very similar for both of us, with Alison living up there and with us having spent quite some time now together in the Trossachs. It feels a little bit like being at home. It feels very familiar and safe and welcoming. So that was just, I think we knew that it was going to be a good time.
Breather, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent couple of weeks up in the Trossachs again earlier this year whilst you were in Germany.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to getting there. And you know what the truth was? That was 5-6 days into the project, and it was a nice milestone to have, to sort of just take a breather, as we say, and see Bobby and, you know, sort ourselves out, because we still weren't really sorted. We were still finding that flow, you know, so
very much so.
Until the last day. What?
Exactly. Well, we had two days
of flow. So then we left Scotland, hey? We do you remember cycling along the A11?
Yeah.
It was a miserable day for me. I was not doing well.
There was the rain.
It was the first proper rainy day, hey? So I remember I went down to this cove. What was it called? I think it might have even been called Cove, on the Northumberland coast. Really, really steep down and then really steep up. I was like, all right, I'm sticking to my no walk policy here. Like, I'm going to cycle up. And the rain was coming down, and I knew you were further ahead, so I was looking forward to that. And then it eased by the time I got to you. Then we went ahead. I jumped on the A11. It was really like, imagine those proper wet, drizzly, dark, misty days. It was one of those. And on the A11, there was the border, hey? How would you describe that border crossing?
It felt weird. It was like a truck stop, miserable day.
Truck stop, what?
Well, I don't know. It felt a bit like a truck stop.
Buy a burger.
No, but because on the other side, you know, there were loads of trucks, and some of the truckers even ran over, took pictures on that side with the "Welcome to England" sign, and vice versa. And you could see like loads of trash flying around, and people clearly stopped there because you know you have the clear, distinct border.
This is England.
England and Scotland.
It didn't even say Scotland, did it?
On the other side.
Oh, did it?
Aye.
Oh, I missed that one, eh?
Yeah, because we're going down and not out.
Like posing, like, yo, it's me in England.
Yeah, it was just awful weather. It was quite a grey day, but also I feel for us, for the project, really exciting, because that was the first country done.
Yeah, it was cool. There was definitely good vibes. They did not carry forth as I continued.
Big step.
I felt so rubbish that day. That was the day of standing under the bridge where, you know, remember you rang me and I was getting so stressed out by the traffic. Then I was on this cycle path that turned out to be steps, and then Blue was just constantly attacking me. Then I was stood under this ridge in the pouring rain, and Anna came and found me with a wrap that I was so grumpy I didn't want to eat. Then eventually I eat it because I like the wraps that she makes. I was in resentfulness. Yeah, it was a sad day. But it became good, because it helped us get home. And it was a nice wrap. Thank you very much for that.
I was so close to just turning around and going.
Oh, I wasn't that bad to you. I just felt rubbish. I didn't have any mojo at all. I was soaking wet and cold. And I had 1,800 miles ahead of me. What is there to look forward to? No, the 1,800 miles was quite good, actually. So anyway, Northumberland.
Northumberland. Northumberland is beautiful. The wide beach is what?
Sorry, just Becca's comment. Blue continued to attack people until the last moment.
Yes, true. Yes. It's so itchy at the moment. Blue attacked me on the last day, and my ankle is just healing up. It's just ridiculous.
The pedals, I changed out the pedals, you see, to these mountain biking ones, and they're quite clunky. And just, do you remember the first month I was just constantly black and blue? Like, how did you get that one? And like, you try and massage my calves and I'd be like, geez, that really hurts. Just because there's a bruise there. Oh. And then we go through the finish line. We're jumping ahead of ourselves here. And you get full on boshed by the pedal. And just like, she's just like, grin and bear it.
The photo series is so beautiful. It's just like,
la, 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 la.
Northumberland.
Yeah.
I love the beaches. I was really surprised by the beaches so much that I had to go and hug them.
So we had some bad news in Northumberland, and as such, we decided to take some time out and go to Bamburgh Castle, which was our first, like, let's do something for ourselves kind of thing. Was it the last? No, it wasn't. We went to the flower place. It was an awesome castle, and it's surrounded by sand dunes, and I love sand. If you guys know anything about me, you know that I'm not the same as Anna. In that and many other things, I do not love sand. And so she's like, la, 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 and I'm like, oh, I can't even talk about sand without this going viscerally into my soul. I don't like the sand. But I follow her anyway, because it's her thing, you know, got to support your partner in all their things and all that. And there I am at the bottom of the sand dune, ready for Anna to run down like the Sound of Music. Not that you've seen that. And she's running.
Love the way you tell stories.
That's great. And she's running, and I'm filming, and then the next thing I know, she's flying, and she's flipped, and she's landed like half half in the sand dune, and I'm like, Anna, and she's like, ah, what did you say? I fell or something. And like the video is hilarious, but the thing is, the way she's talking, like I seriously thought she'd broken her neck. Like her bag was like this, and she was like this, and just half covered in sand. And honestly, like, and then I was like, "Are you okay?" And I kneel down next to her, completely oblivious to my fear of sand, just gone, just like that. It's come back, FYI. And she's fine, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, poked her face, because that's what you do to a dead person, right? She's fine, she could feel that. And then she got up, and then we were just laughing hysterically. And someone walks past, right? And what do they say?
You have to imagine it's a beautiful sunny day. The beach was really busy, and the first person's like, that looked spectacular from over there.
So people have clearly seen her pole vault without the pole or the vault. And then also I'd filmed it. Other people had seen it. And Colin, our cameraman, was way down the beach, tied out, far beach. And he'd also filmed on the long lens. So we have some good coverage there of that spectacular acrobatical moment of your life.
It is not going to make the final cut.
I think it will.
I have a say in this.
So do I.
I have a say in
the final cut. It's not going to make the final cut. But it is going to make the bloopers, because it is the best blooper. I think it could be our actual cover of photos.
I think it
might get people's attention. Abbie Bikes
Britain. I think
Britain.
it should be. It was so bad. Maybe it should be in the trailer.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah, and that that face planting feeling kind of dragged on a little bit.
The laughter, you mean, not the face planting? Oh no, the face planting feeling. Yeah. It all did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Northumberland. So Northumberland is home to Hadrian's Wall, the Hadrian's Wall path, but Hadrian's Wall in particular. And I found myself that was my first. Other than that low day, every day's the first low day. Who am I kidding? That was it.
54 first low days.
That was my first. Steep, man. We'll put it in the final film. I don't know if you guys have ever cycled in Northumberland, but it is relentless in its. And I'm not kidding. That's actually what it does. It's just endless. And then that was the first proper windy day I had, and it was driving me crazy. Like, I couldn't stay in a straight line. I was being blown out into the road. The sky was nice. Like, it wasn't wet. It was just windy and so up and downy. I think this was like, what, day 11 maybe? Something like that, 10, 11. And perhaps the fatigue was definitely setting in as well.
I think it was more 14 already.
Okay, a chunk of time in, yeah. And so yeah, just not feeling 100% on it. But what was really cool about the Northumberland landscape was, you know, at Hadrian's Wall, you see a very tamed version of it. And I think through the areas we went through, we saw some much more wilder parts of it. There was a lot of wind turbines, hinting at the wind. The archaeology was really cool. It's very spectacular to think that you can just walk and cycle along something so old and ancient. But it was Northumberland was very pretty, hey? It was a cool place. And the Cheviot, that's where the Cheviot was. And that was the first one we did by ourselves.
It's bizarre though, because it's like, it was so unapproachable almost.
Inaccessible.
Sorry, sometimes.
Yeah,
it's
no,
just,
good.
It was really weird to even get there. I think that was the first time as well where I felt proper sketched out in the van going down that
to the Cheviot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
We stopped, didn't we, and contemplated whether we should keep driving, because the lane, hey, was like so
steep.
Yeah,
exactly.
and narrow. But we did. You did it.
Yeah.
This one is a master van driver. It should be hire Anna with a van rather than a man with a van. You know, she knows what she's doing, people.
And with a win.
I love what you bring to this life. So that was Northumberland. We did the Cheviot. That was a lovely walk. Quite wild again. We saw one person, didn't we? Which was actually very surprising. Still don't really know where he came from.
The top.
Oh yeah.
No, actually two. There was a hiker and a runner.
Oh yeah, in the mist and the rain at the top. Yeah. And then we dropped down, so it was Northumberland, and then we had the trio, that is the Lake District, the Dales, and the North York Moors. So if you were to say something for each three, what would you say? Starting with the lakes.
It wasn't my first time in the lakes, but it was my first proper time in the lakes, I would say. And I might not be completely on the same page as you. I'm still making up my mind with the lakes. Very crowded. Lakes were very crowded.
It always is in the valleys.
Then the Dales. I fell in love with the Dales.
She did.
That is beautiful landscape to me. I found it so interesting as well. Kind of going from the lakes to the Dales. It's literally like 20 minutes, half an hour drive. When going from one of the national parks to the other one, and it just feels so much more down to earth. It feels less artificial. Which is obviously weird to describe it like that, but that's how it felt to me. And you could just feel a little bit of the more grounded, kind of authentic working lifestyle, people, vibe.
Eh?
Yeah. And it'd be absolutely stunning. Yeah, I really like the Dales. And then the moors is just like the lakes and the Dales. It was a spectacular group of people, really. It was just so amazing being now fully in those group walks and meeting people and having had another just great experience with a great bunch of people out there.
Yeah, I think for me, I would say the Lake District itself was not the most special trip. Like everything aside, it's just we're just moving through it.
Chaotic part of the trip.
Yeah, it was. But what was for me, it did host my personal highlight, which was a 65-mile day from where did I even go? From Wooler? No, not Wooler. Wooler's too far to the east. From Holt Whistle. No, Holt.
Was it Holt Whistle?
Holt Whistle. Might have been Holt Whistle. Into the lakes, 65 miles, and then up Honister Pass to finish it. And there was a lot of that was such an emotionally undulating day. But cycled up it, managed to keep the front wheel on the ground. it became a very spiritual experience for me. Like I could tell the full-on story of Honestart, maybe save that for another day. But yeah, it was such a significant life-altering experience. And then we had, you know, then we moved into, we had a nice little bit of time in the lakes, some chill time, and then we some chill time, some not, pushing a car down the campsite trying to get it to start.
Move on.
Moving on. And then the Dales for me, the Dales, I agree, very, very pretty. I feel like we had a lot of fun in the Dales, just driving around, even though it was a bit stressful. We've managed to find a road that was not on Google. That was fun.
I learned how to back the van up.
Yeah, exactly. Whernside Walk was fantastic. I think we were both quite blown away by that. Riverhead Viaduct as well is always a stunner. And then I completely agree. The Norfolk Moors, that was very nice for me. It was the first walk I led myself. Very familiar with that terrain, what with the Cleveland Way and the Coast to Coast going that way. And yeah, it was just a really special day. Hey? So those three, you know, it's literally like walk, cycle, walk, cycle, cycle, walk. You know, it was very dense. And the walking really broke up the cycling and driving days. Hey, it was your chance to get out, our chance to meet people. For me, different way of connecting with the landscape than just whizzing around on 2 rubber tires. So yeah, they were awesome. That was a nice chunk of time.
Yeah, it was a very, very good time.
Yeah. So then we headed south towards the east, the most inconvenient but definitely worth it part of the challenge, which was the Broads. So obviously like Lincolnshire, Norfolk, all of that way down there. Which was
just another part of the country, I have to say. Maybe it's, you know, the east that I quite like. I fell in love with it. It was just such a giving landscape for me. It was really go there, recharge your batteries. You don't need to. It's just a very kind landscape. I don't really know. I was sitting there with one of the lasses who came to the walk, trying to talk about the landscape and what I appreciate about it. And I don't know whether I'm nailing the description, but it just feels like you can go there and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to exhaust yourself, which is something that is, you know, has its space. But in the Broads, it just felt like a hug. It just felt like a hug from the landscape. I really enjoyed it. Very much like that. We had even though it was chaotic and all over the place and everything, you know, it was the one part that was super firmly planned, or the one walk, because it was a boot and boat day that was very firmly planned, and everything went wrong. Nobody's fault, just how life happens.
It went wrong, but then it went right.
Exactly. We made the absolute best out of it, and it was a beautiful day. Another lovely and funny group of people.
I got an ice cream.
Yeah.
Hey.
Without me, I got myself an ice cream too.
I know you did. I felt that in the atmosphere, which is why I was like, you know what? If someone's going to buy me an ice cream, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
So then we both had an ice cream together, but apart. Yeah, it was special, man. For me, I felt like I don't think I had the best experience coming into the Broads, because there was a lot of big rows, and that was some of the worst traffic I had, other than getting down to Cornwall. Again, was it A11? I don't remember. A1, something like that. Anyway, it was really windy because obviously there's no shelter, but I did find it very interesting how it did feel very European. There were no like hedges and boundary. It was just field, you know, and it was produce. It was full on crops. Like I don't feel like you see that much. Like, we've seen the whole country, and like, what's the diversity of crops that we've seen growing? Like, I don't feel like there's a lot in that condensed space, for me at least, on the little roads. I saw way more growing than I'd say overall on the trip.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's my personal experience. But then the day on the Broads was lovely, really nice. But it definitely comes with the slight stab in the back with the fact that it's definitely the most threatened park. Currently, you know, with the sea level rise, we were talking a lot with the National Park authority person, shout out to Nick, about, you know, the current climate report that's come out, and, you know, the outright facts essentially about, you know, how sea level is going to rise unstoppably in the next however many years, and how the Broads is without question going to be shifting and changing. And that was very heartbreaking. And, you know, he left us with the comment like, at least we're here to enjoy it, because it's not going to be here for much longer. And it's like, I think that's really where we started to feel the impact of like, this is why we're doing what we're doing. Yes, we're having a jolly old time and we're telling you that, but there's a very serious side to it. Excuse me. And then we traveled up to the Peak District, and that was another one where we didn't have the discussions, but in the back of my mind, we're walking through this peaty, boggy landscape, and it's like, geez, this is an endangered landscape. You know, they're cracking down on wild camping and on motor vehicles because it's being shredded up, and on yada, 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 yada. It's tricky, because I think we can go out into these wild spaces and enjoy them and be very separate from the reality that is that we can't take these places for granted. Not any one of us, you know. So the Peak District was interesting. We had a bit of an amazing time getting up there. Ended up having a birthday present. Are we going into that much detail, or are we going to come back to that?
That's up to you.
Is it?
It was your present.
Well, oh, we're telling the story. Why not? Let's just go with this. And then, so I was having, after the Broads, my back was so painful, and it was the first and only really day I needed to take out because of injury. And we sat in a field and saw this plane going over. And what was happening with the plane, Anna?
The plane continued going.
What was happening with the people in the plane, Anna?
They were jumping out of the plane.
They were parachuting. And so, despite the pain I was in, Anna just drives around the corner to the airfield where this plane had taken off. And long story short, we ended up being one of those people jumping out of the plane just like that, which was bonkers. It was a real high, hey, literally, and just between us, it was very special to do. Yeah.
I'm very much into flying. Well, without the plane, and I just got super excited, and kind of, you know, from sitting in the field, looked up where the airfield was, and it was 3 minutes down the road, and decided to at least go. Well, we talked about it, and you kind of already raced on in your mind and didn't even realize that I pulled into it. And then it's like, oh, let's look at the planes.
Yeah.
And I, you know, we were already walking back to the car, and I said, no, we're here. Let's just go. Let's just see, because it would really do us good in that moment. Me for my own reasons, Abbie because she always wanted to do it, and I was still waiting for a good opportunity for out of the blue birthday present, after I wasn't here for Abbie's birthday earlier this year, and we just decided to go for it. And they had space for us as walk-ins, and they were super kind, and took us up as the last customers, and we
15,000 feet
jumped through the clouds into the sunset, and it was just an amazing experience to have.
Yeah, very, very special. So that was an amazing thing. Then on the way to the Peak, just I think 2 days later, we ran out of fuel, so we ended up sleeping on a petrol forecourt. So, you know, highs and lows. But we were saved by Simon, who took us on and let us pitch up on the forecourt. He was great. I still find it funny because there's a really random shot of Anna just filming me walking out of the men's loo, and because we used the men's loo because it had a lock on it. So that was great. Yeah, all the adventures, you know. We did the Peak District walk, fantastic group, proper biblical rain, had a nice chat with everybody over chips in the pub, met up with Andy from Black Dog, had a great chat with him as well. Black Dog Outdoors, if you don't know them, definite shout out, they're fantastic, and helping people get outside for mental health as well. I believe they just won a few awards as well, which is super cool. Then, Weir's.
Wales.
Aye.
Aye.
Headed into Wales. This is where I started to have my slight crash and burn, I think.
You kind of predicted that as well. You
did.
had a constant worry about Wales.
How hard it was going to be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Would you say it was actually as hard as you? No.
No, it really was not. Like if you look at the itinerary, which you don't have, if you imagine our itinerary, Wales was one of the hillier sections. Wales in the southwest. And I was intimidated by Wales because I sort of foresaw that at this stage I'd be starting to really feel my back. You know, the fatigue would be full on kicked in, and it wasn't really. I think it probably was all of that, but it's not like I was just broken. I was never broken at any point, really. Well, there was the odd day where I'd come in and just be a collapsed heap. But no, it was. I think just all of the things. You know, the tensions, the stresses, the expectations that weren't being met. Yada yada yada. You know, our personal journey, the bigger things that have to force their way in completely invasively and toxically.
Yes. Respect is not everybody's forte.
Like you know, just some really, we can't go into detail, but it's like, it's not what you'd think. But it had to be addressed. And these things were taking up time, our personal time, our rest time. And it just felt very demoralizing. And there was this one day, heading the day before reaching Snowdonia, I think for me, and I was just in the middle of nowhere, completely out of signal. I think it was like 9 miles of just like, I couldn't see because I was so being rained on so heavily. The wind was just sideways rain. I really didn't know where I was, didn't know where Anna was, and don't know where she's going. And I just felt absolutely miserable. And I had my first full-on like panic attack breakdown, and I got it all on camera, just over what was going on and just, you know, the frustrations and the stresses, and it was just miserable. But made it to the van in the end. We had a cup of tea, full-on cry, made all the tissue piles, but that means successful processing, right? And then we reached Snowdon, and we had our Snowdon sunrise walk. How was the sunrise, my love?
It was great. Once we were on our way down, the sunrise, when it actually occurred, was invisible to us. We were stuck in a hailstorm. Yeah, that was a rather dramatic sort of scene up there.
It was,
but overall,
yeah,
it was just absolutely amazing. Afterwards, coming down, it's so funny seeing everybody as well. Have you been up already? You didn't actually go up, did you? When did you start?
4 a.m. suckers. Yeah, it was great. Night climb, hey?
Yeah.
That was a little group, but absolute kudos. You know, one person in particular, he trumped so many things, and got himself to the top. Like, I felt proper emotional. Wasn't going to cry because I was dehydrated and being rain hailed on. But yeah,
I think you were just hiding your tears in the rain. I'm sure you were crying, actually.
It was special, you know. And I've been up Snowdon again a couple of times this year, and I think that was just one of the most significant summits. Like, it was just very powerful, you know, being completely out in the elements. And I think everybody said, you know, if they were by themselves, they wouldn't choose to go out in that. And I think that's what we found with all the rainy walks, is because they were group walks, there was accountability. It was still safe, you know, we know what we're doing. And yeah, it just gives you a full-on different immersive experience to what it is like being out in nature, hey, and a part of nature. There was a point in life or in history where we couldn't just escape the weather. We had to be out in it and deal with it, you know. And I think it's really cool that this project has forced us to do that again. You know, that's what we're built for. So at Snowdon, Pembrokeshire coast was flipping beautiful. We both fell in love with that. Really gorgeous place, eh?
Windy,
again,
but no, very, very nice. It was interesting for us as well because we have considered that as a place where we could live, and I think it was really nice for us to kind of see how it would actually be. And the same with the Brecons. I mean, I've never been to Wales before, and it was just really, really stunning landscape again, very different and
it was special.
Yeah, very special time. Crazy times because it was all very emotional. But at the same time, good again, kind of bringing Wales to a close then was another big achievement. Yeah.
I just want to ask this one question. Karen asks, I think it's great actually. What do you think of the Welsh accent?
We've been talking about it while we were in Wales. I find it oddly kind of familiar. It's weird because obviously I can't understand a word. And it's probably not so much the Welsh accent, but actually Welsh. That just makes me a bit nostalgic and feel like it's a like more of a Germanistic language. Is that an English word?
Germanistic?
Yeah.
Germanic.
Okay, a Germanic language. So I did quite enjoy it. I don't mind the Welsh accent. It's not quite Scottish, but it's all right.
How's that for an answer, lads? Yes, so then we finished with the Brecon Beacons, so Penafan. It was a lovely day as well. For me, it's sort of passed in a blur, actually. We were in the mist for a lot of it, and we didn't have the views from the top, but the conversations were grand. And yeah, just a good day, hey?
Yeah.
For me, that day sort of just all passed in a bit of a blur. I remember we talked about Russell Brand a lot, so it's, for me, Brecon Beacons is forever going to be tied to Russell Brand. Yeah.
You and I?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's just a thing now.
I don't know if I remember that.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I don't know what the silence means.
Well, I don't know.
Have I done something wrong?
No, I'm just trying to remember because it must be quite significant. But
well, do you remember all the mountain passes? Like we went to find gas and we had Russell Brand on then, and then that big mountain pass with all the crosses where I was eating the halva. We were talking about Russell Brand then, and I remember.
I thought you were talking about when we were actually walking up Penafan.
Oh no!
Oh,
the Brecon Beacons.
Okay.
Penafan on the walks we don't talk a lot because we're talking with everybody else.
Generally, we don't tend to talk too much.
We were in a van about this big, which whenever possible we wouldn't.
No, no. Generally, you were on the bike and I was on the van.
True. On the van.
In the van.
So anyway, Brecon Beacons, Penafan, great day. Then we left Wales. That was my longest day. It was supposed to be 95. Turned out to be 80. Why was that? Where did I end up cutting it short?
We cut it short in the beginning. Right. Oh, no. Didn't I take you a bit in between?
Yeah. So I cycled down to the Southern Bridge into Bath and then to Bristol, but we ended up cutting off a little bit because
then Bath.
Oh yeah, Bristol then Bath. Thank you. Because there was not enough daylight, and I was going to meet my coach Heidi, who was cycling from me from Bristol to Bath along the cycle path. Highly recommend. Beautiful blaze of a sunset, and Anna found me in the dark with Heidi, who let me go. I was clearly being chaperoned. And then we cycled together to Bath Abbey, didn't we? And that was an amazing moment because
it was very cool. Because last year, when you finished the Cotswold Way, you finished obviously at Bath Abbey, and I picked you up,
and we stood on the same circle.
Yes.
1 year later.
Yeah.
Really cool, hey?
That was very special.
Yeah. This is nice. This is making us find the special things again. Thanks, guys. You're officially our therapist now.
Where can we pay?
Yeah. No, it's free. Save the NHS. There we go. That's my 5 seconds on there. Very important again. No, so then we were officially in home turf, and it was very bizarre, wasn't it? Like
it was Bristol, so bizarre because I also think, because we had reunited at the Abbey before, and then going home was sort of, well, obviously now we're going home.
So weird.
But we didn't go home.
We could just drive down the M5 for an hour and we'd be home.
Exactly.
But we didn't.
and it was for a couple of days. Well, not for a couple of days. Yeah, for a couple of days.
I think the whole chunk from there.
It was kind of, oh, we're getting closer to home, and then it was going away, and was okay.
To the east. The New Forest and South Downs and the New Forest. So South Downs was a beautiful sunny day. We went up Butster Hill. So they're right.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's not actually the highest point, turns out. So then we ran up Blackdown Hill afterwards as the sun was setting. Leave me to plan things when I just cycled 60 miles. Great group, really great convo. Very funny day actually, that one was, and all the red kites were stunning.
Yeah.
And then the New Forest, that's a very, like, that's close to my heart that day as well. Yeah. The New
Forest was
Forest
just also going into the New Forest. I feel we both were just like, huh? How is this so beautiful here? How are there so many horses everywhere. In the villages and the open fields and in the forests, and we were both stunned.
We were both like, if we could afford it, we would move.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
That was the first one we'd agreed on. Really.
We were like, yes, let's find. Oh no, sad. We don't have enough.
Quite out of budget for us.
Can we rent a barn here, maybe?
No, it was lovely. Just just looking to over the horizon of just endless trees, but it also wasn't just trees. There was a lot of heathland, and you know, we saw all the ponies, but then we saw two. I was like, is that pigs? And there were these two chunky pigs just wombling around. And it
turned out that one of our fellow hikers, walkers, told me that farmers let the pigs go wild because they eat the acorns, because if the horses would eat them, then the horses would fall sick. It was really cool.
So it was great.
Just nice to see, you know, a little bit of man-made rewilding in order for everybody to be a bit happier.
Yeah.
Those pigs were healthy pigs.
Yeah. No, it was great. Really lovely group. It was our longest walk. It did feel like a long day, but also it's quite hot as well. I think that impacted all of us. And then we had a good time at camp, and then we headed to Exmoor. What does that mean? Heading home. So we actually
you fitted with the route a bit there, hey, to not go.
Oh, geez. So the Garmin wanted to take me along the main road, essentially towards our house, which I have cycled endlessly. I'm like, no, that is too close to the boat. I'm going to have a full-on meltdown if we do that. So I ended up going along the back road up the top, which takes us into Exmoor, and it is a route that I cycle very frequently. And it felt really weird, really weird. And then it was a funny day, actually. I ended up having proper giggles at myself because I was mooching along, like, la, 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 I've got all the time in the world. And then I decided to do a check, like, oh, how far have I got? It must be like 13 minutes. 1 hour, 13 minutes. I'm like, what? This can't be right. Oh, of course it is. We're in Exmoor. My opinion, having cycled all of the national parks, folks, the Lake District, Peak District, and Exmoor are the only hilly parts of this country. Nowhere else counts as hilly. It's just extreme. So anyway, I was running out of light. You were stuck in traffic, picking up Bobby for a surprise meeting. Arrived at we never saw the campsite really because it was dark when we got there, and in the morning the mist was so thick we had no clue really where we were, but it seemed nice. So then we were in Exmoor. We did the Dunkery Beacon walk, which was quite wet and wild. Not the entire way. We had some nice time. Really cool ranger, Charlotte. She was our last ranger who we sort of had accompanying us on a walk. She imparted all the knowledge, inspired both of us, actually, didn't she? Really cool lass.
Yeah, she was a very, very, very awesome person. Yeah.
So she was cool. And then what we had to do, quite controversially, is drive to Dartmoor, because Ty Wheelhays is just on the boundary of the military firing range. So much of Dartmoor is used by the MOD as practice ranges. They do operations in yada yada, and they close it. So they put the red flags up, and you cannot enter at your own risk. And they will find, like, there's people patrolling, and they will stop you. But so we were due to get there on the 20th, because obviously the 19th I was cycling down, the 20th we'd hike. And I decided to check because you can only check 6 weeks ahead. And no, the firing range is shut. What are we going to do? And we had a few ping pongs of ideas, and then came up with the idea of actually we're just going to have to drive there and do it on the 19th.
Because the other only option then was to do it after finishing in Land's End, and it just wouldn't have been right.
No, it was. I couldn't make that work.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did it on the 19th. That was perhaps our most harsh day, weather-wise. I was navigating in pretty much complete whiteout. Could be worse. Could have been better.
You got us all through it.
I got us all through it. It was very windy. Hey, it was pathless, pretty much.
Apparently, I did quite a dance coming off.
Yeah, it was just like bracing in the wind.
It was really.
I think we all were like that. Yeah, it was pretty soggy, to be fair. But
it was miserable.
I don't think anyone on that walk would have actually chosen to do that, including me. Like,
yeah.
So.
We did a double check in the beginning. Are we all sure we want to do this?
Like a few times I was like, should I just pretend this is the peak? No, I wasn't going to do that. Yeah, so we got down and then we went to, what was it called? Pedal and that?
The Pig and Pedal.
Was it Pig and Pedal? No. Rachel, you'll remember. I know she's tuning in. What was the cafe that we went to? I want to give them a shout out as well. The highest point.
Thingy and Pedal.
It was definitely Pedal something.
Yeah.
They were great anyway. It's actually a cycle shop come cafe, which seems to become more of a thing.
Come pizzeria, come bar, come everything. It's really good.
Really nice, hey?
Yeah.
And they hosted us, and we just all clambered in our soggy state and had coffee and cake. And Craig and I were very passionate about our avocado and courgette cake. Pedal and pump. There you go. I knew she knew. High five.
Thanks.
Yeah. So then we that was actually quite a sad evening, knowing that was our last walk. Okay, but also it was so wet. Like it just got absolutely biblical again. Hey. Yeah.
That was the worst stretch of weather, I would say, because it just lasted for a few days, right?
Yeah.
It just got to the extent of, thankfully, this is happening now and not earlier, because things are not going to be dry.
Yeah.
From here on, it's just one box with wet.
Well, that was the thing. We had 3 days to go from there. So it was almost just like, we're just going to get through this.
Yeah.
You know, I was adamant that I wanted to cycle as much as I could, because I wanted to just get some processing time. And what was amazing, actually, what worked out really well about shifting the walk to the 19th was it gave us an extra day, because we still had to finish on the 22nd. That was just part of the deal. And so we went down to the Lizard on the final day, just skipping the last two because I don't know what happened on those. We went down to the Lizard Point, and I think for me, that was certainly on a personal level much more special than Land's End. Just cycling, like you waited for me in the van or whatever, somehow you found me. Then I follow you down to the Lizard Point, the car park, and you're all emotional. Then I get all emotional, and it's like, we were here earlier this year, and just that pulling together of past and present, and it was just really nice, you know. And just knowing that is the southernmost point. Like we've been from Dunnet Head to the Lizard together. We have done that, you know, bonkers. And then the final.
It was. I would say the Lizard was just like Dunnet's Head, less the official project start and finish point. There was something very personal about both of those points. Yeah, I agree. And the Lizard in particular, where we kind of just had our moment rather than us in the project. Yeah,
exactly. And then the last leg was up to Land's End, and that last sort of 20 miles or so was not quite the I thought it might be, because I came off on a roundabout. Anna was shopping in Sainsbury's, and she literally messaged me like 5 minutes before, do you need to stop because I'll get going or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm good, just automatic reply. And the next thing she knows, she's got a message from me like I've just come off on the roundabout and
I'm just walking for a bit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So I was able, obviously, to track Abbie, and she was literally on the roundabout, or just off the roundabout next to where I was. So I kind of went to pick her up, and cars had been very crazy down there. What was it called?
So yeah, what happened on the A30 at
Penzance,
Penzance? Yeah. As I was just in the lane ready to go left, and a car had come up, squeezed past me, and decided it wanted to go straight. And this van on my right was going to go that way, the same way I was going. And I just ended up caught in between these two vehicles. And I don't actually have a flipping clue how, but I ended up just coming off on the curb. And I was fine, a bit bruised, but fine. But just shaken, you know. But I just know from those shaken things, the best thing you can do is get going. So by the time you came out of Sainsbury's and clearly did a couple of loops to find me.
Well, I just had to go around the roundabout
yeah.
and then come back.
Yeah. I was cycling again. And I remember you looking at me. You looked so worried. And I was just like...
But you look back at me just as worried. It just looked like you'd just been smacked around the face.
Yeah, I just, you know...
So I just found a pull in a couple of 100 yards ahead, and we decided that because of the traffic and Abbie just being a little bit shaken up, it would be the best for me to just take her out of Penzance and drop her where all of the roundabouts and all of the crazy town traffic. And I have to say, I was a bit surprised, but there were a lot of disrespectful drivers on those roads.
The most on the entire way.
Yeah,
without question. Yeah,
big, you know, silly young drivers who have to show off sort of vibe that was very unnecessary for you and for us to take the risk on the last few miles.
Yeah, I think it was the first sort of aggressive driving I felt like I experienced. And that was it. Like, I was so worried before the trip of safety, you know. I just don't trust cars around cyclists. I just feel like they just don't know how to drive or respect the fact that there is a human on a metal frame and you're in this metal box, and it's just awful. I was anticipating a lot more, didn't have that. Really, really grateful for that. I do think part of that was I was in very bright colours, thanks to Anna's nudge. And I also think, you know, when a car is following behind, they see mental health awareness in big black writing. I genuinely think that really helped. Because you know, when you're following a bike, you do tend to read. Yeah, it's like give 1.5 meters, some say, or whatever, and I think that's cool. So yeah, Cornwall though was just I got really angry at one point. Like, you left me and I'd cycled and I pulled into a lay-by and just was like fuming, full on rant to the GoPro, just about how these drivers are. Then I went for a wee and let it all out. Then carried on, decided, no, I've got 4 miles to go. I can't be fuming as I drive into Land's End. Someone's going to get hurt. Yeah, and then there it was, the last leg. I picked myself back up. I was like, I'm going to be in this la, 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 la land. And I was. And then I'm like, what is that approaching on the horizon? That purple blob in a blue helmet. Oh, wait, it's Anna. And there she was cycling towards me and then couldn't get to me because there was traffic. So, you know, just had to wait a little bit. Then she arrived. And then we cycled into Land's End together. And it was really, really, really beautiful. So a few Patreons and people who come on the walk had come together. Dave and Alison and Bobby were there. And they created this really cool, like, rush arch. In fact, I know Rachel's watching this.
Wait.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, I was going to show. Look, there they are. Yeah, and it was just great. And we went to do photos at the sign, and then Anna had arranged this secret cafe picnic thing. This really, what was it called? The Apple Tree. Apple Tree. Yeah, a massive shout out to the Apple Tree.
Oh, it's such good food.
Can't recommend enough. Yeah, really beautiful food. They put on a full vegan spread for us. Everyone was astonished. We were astonished. Like, that moose, like, what was that? So we finished and had a gorgeous little feast, big feast actually. That's great. Hey, and then that was it. And then we had a nice fire with those of us who stayed in the evening. And then the next morning, no one wanted to leave. We did not want to leave, but we had an interview with the Cornwall Wildlife Trust, so cracked on with that and then headed home. Hey, and that brings us back to the beginning of the story as Anna put it, and that is how you talk 2 months in an hour and a half. And it's over. So what that actually means is we're back. Everyone's asking what's next. I'm just trying to say life is next. You know, we're to use Anna's phrase, trying to get our ducks in a row, sort out our own personal carnage, so that we can actually find some peace and harmony, and actually do life. Because, you know, since Anna and I have known each other, it's been one thing after another, from having nowhere to live, like literally, living out of the car and deciding, well, we'll just go to Europe and do stuff there. To, you know, then moving in here and having a very dark, hard winter with all the things that were going on, to then, you know, you going, well, to then lockdown till April, to then you going away for 2 months, to then 3 months getting ready, then doing this trip, and now we're here. How to compartmentalize your life into chunks.
And now maybe
the piggyback is a great lunch. Yeah, go on. And now?
Yeah. And now we just have to, it's not all over.
It's not,
but,
man.
No,
Yeah.
But it's a little bit calm down wherever we can amongst everything that just has to get done. There is a lot of admin, life admin, and work that needs to get done before we can make a plan for
anything
our
else.
next, your next, my next big project or whatever is lying ahead. So hopefully it's going to be a fairly quiet winter.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really good, and there's a lot more, you know, we could share there, but I'm sort of keen to start to pick Wild back up bit by bit, not just jump in. There's going to be a lot of changes. I'm sharing those more in detail somewhat through our Patreon community, which is our online platform, and I'm looking to really put a lot more time back into that, because everyone's been very patient bearing with me for the last 2 months, and I want to come back into the group and be like, hey guys, did you miss me? But so it's going to be awesome. We've got some cool ideas floating around here. But I think it's time for us to jump on this giveaway, and then what we'll do is we'll just end with 5 minutes of real quick real quick questions. Shall we do questions now then?
No.
Are you sure?
All good?
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So, as we mentioned, we're doing this giveaway in order to just raise some final funds for Abbie Bikes Britain. We've got a few other tricks up our sleeve. But if you feel like you are able to donate and want to enter our giveaway for £15, your name will be entered into the draw. And let's just checking if we've got anything else. Look, we have. Hold fire, people. We want to make sure everybody's name is in the group. If you're gonna just donate real quick, can you just send a thumbs up or something, and then we just know to wait, because we don't want to do the draw and miss you. As you can see, we've got some awesome, wonderful array of paper with your handwritten names on there, and gonna be giving the giveaway stuff away very soon. It's cool because there's actually a lot of stuff. So, and then, as I say, we'll just do a little Q&A session. So if you have any questions, have a little think about them, maybe type them up, get ready to send them. Can you send them in capitals, please, so that then we know that there's a question. It's just easier for us to see for all the conversation that's going on the side there as well. And it's just getting the final few names ready. Be prepared. This has gone on much longer than anticipated. I hope you don't mind that. It's actually been quite fun. Have you been having fun?
Yeah, I have.
Good. Fun is important. I love how they're still talking about the food from the piggy bags. It was good. Thank you very much. No. Cool. All right. Almost there. One more. Well, as I say, we're going to come to all the questions in a bit. Thank you for that, Trev. We'll get to those in a second. Should we do the fun stuff, other than this whole fun conversation? I think we should do one each, okay? Every other.
Okay.
So what are we going to start with? Should we do it in the order of which it was displayed? So, the Elite 250 sleeping bag, Terra Nova. What?
You're going to start with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You're going to pick the name? Who's going to win this?
Is that a big responsibility? I don't know. Oh, nervous.
Also, if she can read my writing, it will be a miracle. I tried.
How about I hold it up and you write it?
Write it. I'll read it. Come on, go.
Read it.
Oh on, Chrissy Dudgeon. She's won the sleeping bag. Congratulations, Chrissy. I say that because Chrissy is a Patreon who is great. She's very funny. So congratulations, Chrissy. You've got yourself a sleeping bag. Exciting. Do you want to pop that with that one?
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Are we on to Shinrin Yoku? This book. I think you should do the names.
Oh.
I'm quite happy to be the model.
I don't want to be accused of,
It's tense, this is. Now you see what I feel on the Patreon giveaways.
Becca!
Hey, Becca down! Congrats, Becca. Becca came on one of our walks. This is funny. It's so great because so many people who've donated, we actually have met, which gives us like really personal relationship. So congrats, Becca. You got yourself this really awesome book. Hope it's going to inspire you to hug some trees because trees are great. If you want to put that one in there.
Yeah.
Super duper. We're going to be getting these mailed out later next week, all right? Well,
later
Tuesday.
Next week.
Later next week. Yeah, later next week. Oh, it's nearly next week. Whatever. Okay, so up next we have our Scandinavian Wild Guide.
Ooh. Is your name in here? I know you were just talking about going to...
Look, the Viking Museum! Can I keep it? Please. Wait, what else is there in here? The winner is Karen Hatton. Congratulations, Karen. You're going to Scandinavia, lass. That's really exciting. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Iceland. Can I borrow it? Congrats, Karen. That's exciting. All right, heading a little bit closer to home this time. Scotland. Who's the winner of this one? I really like these. Can we do these more often? We just need more stuff to give away. So sorry, I was just trying to read that. I was trying to read that. Can you say that?
Jeffrey McCallum.
Jeffrey McCallum. Scotland Wild Guide. This is why I don't do bingo. Congratulations.
Oh, can we do a wild online bingo at some point?
Yeah. Okay, that's fun. Cool, great. Congratulations, Jeffrey
McCallum.
McCallum. Get yourself to Scotland. Maybe he lives in Scotland. I don't know. That's that one. Look, guys, this is free. Don't worry. Okay, so next up we have the Cicerone. So we have 6 of these to give away. So we got 6 names to fill out here.
Okay, I think you should be pulling those out. Let me hold the book. We have 6 of these to give away. So Abbie will now be the fairy who's picking up.
Fairy?
The pixie who's picking out...
Can't see why there are problems in there. The first winner of the first book is Geraldine Richardson. Woo! Congratulations, Geraldine. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Who's next? Oh, the Way of St. Francis. Can I keep pointing? The second winner is Jill Harvey. I read that right. Yes. Congratulations, Jill. Next up, there are so many names in here. Can you see? Do you want to pick one? Oh, wait, you can't. Let's have a look. Karen is asking
Such a cool book.
The third winner is Michael Schutz. Congrats, Michael. There's only like so many congratulations. Especially because I've been doing this for quite a few months now. The fourth winner, 1, 2, 3, yeah, is, you can read this one out.
Isla Brown.
Isla Brown. Congratulations. Super cool. Whoops, a daisy. Next one, number 5, penultimate, is...
Penultimate, just like Exmo. Elise Kenwell.
Woo! Congratulations, Elise. She's been an amazing support throughout the project. Big shout out. Thank you so much. Touches the heart. And the final winner is...
Leonie Postma.
Yay! Congratulations. That's so cool, hey?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So we've got 6 of those to mail out. They'll be coming your way next week.
If you do want to have them signed, then obviously
drop us a line.
Yeah.
If you can possibly email that might be easier. So it's info@spendmoretimeinthewild.co.uk. Just drop us a quick line. We're going to be in touch with everybody anyway, so we can get everything mailed out. Just drop us a little special request and we can sort that. And then we have the through notes. 4 packets of through notes to give away.
The tear-proof ones.
Oh, shut up. I'm sorry. He's never going to want to hike with me now. I want him to be friends.
Of course he wants to hike with you now because he knows that you're strong enough to, defend yourself.
Put me on the PCT, ain't no big gonna get me. All right, 4 packets of 4 notebooks. So we've got the red, yellow, blue, and black. The 4 winners of the 4 notebooks are
Kirsten Bennetson.
Did she just win one?
No.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I think the thing, well, you know how we said it works with if you donate more than once, you get your name in. Like we've obviously just written down all the names today, and it's like a lot of people with multiple donation. And yeah, it's just, that's why I was like, did you win? So you won! Woohoo! Very exciting. 1 of 4. Third, second is maths with Abbie.
Hugh Richards.
Oh, Jesus. Awesome. Congratulations, Hugh Richards. He's so not watching this. If you're watching, Hugh, thank you for watching. Oh. So Hugh, we met in Aberystwyth. Hugh runs, Hugh Richards, he has a YouTube channel on gardening. He's very famous and good at what he does. Really lovely guy. He came for a coffee after just literally moving house. It was so
weird. We were sitting in this random cafe and Hugh is walking past and Abbie's like, is that Hugh? I'm like, yeah, it is Hugh. And Abbie is running out.
Ran out. I was like, Hugh! And he clearly didn't want to stop. But he did. And he just moved house and he came for coffee with us and my uncle. It was just really awkward.
And random.
And really random. But he was gracious enough to sit with us.
And he's like, well, I should better donate to the cause of this.
Such a good
And I was just writing it down and I thought, how funny would it be if Hugh wins somewhere?
How am I going to get in touch with him if he doesn't reply to my messages? Can we all message Hugh Richards, please, on Instagram and Facebook so that he knows that I need him on the podcast? Thank you. We've had the conversation.
We need him because he won the 3
And he won the 3 books. 4 books. There are 4.
They're perfect for his gardening notes, though, because they are waterproof, right? You need those.
Should we get on with the 3rd winner?
Yes.
Hugh Richards had his time.
I can't believe it actually.
I can't believe that happened either. The 3rd winner is also as important and special as Hugh Richards, and it is
Kelsey Hanush.
Congratulations, Kelsey. You're a superstar. Whoop, whoop. And the 4th and final winner. Oh, we don't have more things to give away. This is fun. Can't everybody win something? Free hugs. You can draw the final one. Go on. Oh, you spent the while folding these. The final winner is of our through notes. From Russell Hepton, the trail hunter.
W. David Green.
Congratulations, David. Everybody puts their names slightly differently on Patreon and stuff. So we don't know if your first name's W something or David.
Walter, William.
But congratulations, you.
David.
Oh, that was such good fun. So guys, we cannot thank you enough for every single one of you who's won and has not won. Your donation is meaning the world. It's all going straight into the project. We're going to have a look at the questions in a minute, but we really hope that when these 3 films come out, that you are impacted by them, you're inspired by them, you feel empowered, you feel educated in a very helpful way. None of this is meant to come across as dark and oppressive. It's light and it's liberating, I think, is what we're really going for here, to sort of help change people's thinking and set them free from the mundane and the routine and the suffocation that society puts on us. This is what we're trying to do. So yeah, so the 3 films, obviously stay tuned for updates about those. And we have a lot of other plans which we don't want to fully release yet because they're ideas to become plans, and it would be wrong to sort of say what we're looking to do right now. So please just stay tuned. Abbie Bikes Britain is not over. The physical act of cycling from here to there is right now, but the journey continues.
That is probably what really is next.
Mhm.
Making the rest out of what we have just done.
Yeah. And I don't think we even fully know yet.
No, because we really, you know, I'm saying this nonchalantly, but we need a break to even realize what we have just come through, because there has been so much going on that is not necessarily known, that partly we don't even know yet, because it's just a lot of reflection that needs to happen. And only through that process will we be able to go the next steps that are to go with Abbie Bikes Britain.
Exactly.
The project was one thing, but it was really only the second or third step of it all after the preparation, and now it's the ball is still rolling.
Very much. Wheels still turning, just not on the bike.
With the bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round. Round.
Should we do some Q&A? So thank you to everyone who's asked questions. If you've got any other questions, we will be wrapping this up very shortly. That's there now. Please put them in capitals on the side and we can answer. So Trev Joyce is asking, how will you measure the impact your trip has had on mental health awareness? So if you don't mind, I'll jump in first. So I would say it's something that's, you know, we haven't set a way to fully quantify our impact and the reach, but I think there's going to be a number of ways that we can do that. And part of that is quantifiable. It's from our physical metrics on social media platforms, from stories to posts to live sessions such as these, to the videos and how far they reach. But then the thing is, every time someone clicks share, every time somebody talks about something, every time you guys hang out here and then you go say to your friend, oh, I did this live session, go watch it or tune into the next one, like that is verbal. That's where we lose control, not control, we lose
the oversight.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word. Thank you. Of how far things are going. And that's what's exciting about it, is we're never going to truly know, but we are one couple, one people, one organization on this mission. And there are so many others doing parallel journeys just with their own voices and their own adventures and their own mediums, whether that's through writing or film or whatever it might be. We're all working towards this common goal. We're not setting out to do anything particularly new here. What makes us different is us, you know, because we have our own stories with which people can relate. And that is what puts the beating heart in wild. You know, we're not just a business for the sake of business. We are so much more than that. So it's not like we can say, okay, we want to reach 1 million people. Like, absolutely we do. But how are we going to know if we've reached 1 million people? Maybe we've reached 1 million people. We don't know. Yeah, it would be great to get on. You know, of course, we've done the radio interviews and stuff. No clue how many people have listened to those. It's far and wide. And then the national parks have been sharing things and other organizations have been sharing things. And so that's what's cool, is it's just the little flickers of flames that just travel outwards, and we
don't really see that. And especially not right now. It probably comes with the next few weeks, where maybe, you know, other conversations start, or we get feedback, or even, you know, when the films are then being released, then we'll probably be more able to actually measure how far this all has gone.
I think what this does open the doors to is a very quick chat about the whole point in this, and what we're trying to do is inspire conversation. Like, there is so much power in conversation, you know, in talking and raising our voice, especially for those who just don't have a voice, you know, whether that's nature or whether it's people really suffering with their mental health, or whether it's yada, 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 you know, there are so many voiceless places and topics and subjects in the shadows that people are too scared to talk about. And that's what we're trying to do, in whatever way is actually safe and respectable, to bring people together. So if you guys have told anybody about Abbie Bikes Britain, you know, you are holding a piece of that flame and you are nurturing it. You know, that's the fuel that we want to see, is spread that fire as far as you can. And that's how we're going to have an impact. This is as much about you guys as it is about us. So that's what I'd say to that right now. Anything else to add to that?
No, I think you've gone there.
It's all or nothing. Okay, Richard Gwynn is asking, did you have days where you felt you couldn't get on the bike, and how did you deal with that? Guess I should answer that one. I didn't really, actually. When I felt like there were days where perhaps here I would feel like I wouldn't want to get on the bike. it was sort
I
of,
made her want to because she wanted to
I
escape
wanted
me.
to get on the bike, like, but sometimes it just wasn't easy. Like the want was always there, but the tiredness or wanting to write my diary or something was also there. But there was never a day where I just really couldn't. The only day I would say I really could not face it was the day after the Broads with my back. Like I did not even argue with that. I was like, I can't cycle.
I just threw her out of a plane on that day.
Nutter. So
I didn't struggle another day after.
Through that, I feel like I can't really. I feel like I probably should have hated the cycling more than I did, but I loved it so much. And that's why, you know, from the beginning, I said, like, this is what I'm made to do. I'm so made to push myself physically every single day. Like, it's just where my mental resilience absolutely peaks. Obviously, having Anna by my side really helped with that, because I think it would have been a very different trip by myself. But yeah, we were a good team in that sense. So yeah, good stuff. I'll just quickly add, are you missing the cycling? Yes, I'm missing the cycling. But I think that's more for the physicality and the adventure more than anything else.
It's not so much going out around the house for 50-mile days every day, right?
That doesn't interest me. It's just what the cycling opened up on this trip, you know. What was your favorite moment? Here you go. You can take this one.
For both of us, I think we had a lot of favorite moments. I've been obviously asked this question a lot over the past couple of weeks or a week. I would say every group walk was one of my favorite moments. It was really, I felt myself sounding a little bit cheesy when I, you know, said it for the 14th, 15th time. But it was so amazing to meet some of you and to give you a proper hug and feel like I could actually feel and be part of the community. That was just so lovely and always a high. And then the other favorite, I mean, I loved us jumping out of that plane. That was
really, you didn't seem very happy. Sarcasm.
You're still learning. It's all right.
Yeah, I don't understand sarcasm at all.
Yeah, definitely. If we're going into detail, you know, there were a lot of favorite moments, but those 16 stand out.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What part of van life will you miss?
Not the shuffling. We talked about it the other day, and I said, you know, the nice thing about van life was that we were forced to be in such a small space. And whilst at moments it was really irritating, it was also so nice because we had to be with each other, and that was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think obviously it's some people's nightmare being in such a confined space for 55 days, and I think we found it hard at points. But I think also I think we have our struggles, but we are also very good at respecting each other's emotional space on a deeper level than just like conversation. There's so much respect for each other, you know. I liked that it was a very, very simple way of life. Like, it's like hiking, you know. That was just great. I just love that I just feel like I'm in nature all the time. Like, you open the door and you just get a blast of whatever's out there. And, you know, you've got to walk to the toilet, which means going outside. And I just love all of that. Like, when are we going back to the old days where you have a toilet at the bottom of the garden? I don't want that.
You can go
to the compost field. Yeah, it just really, for me, that's what the van life thing is. You know, I've been talking with you today about the whole van thing. I'm just not sure about it, but it definitely has opened up something in my thinking. Not for the sake of van lifing, like that just irritates me, but actually for living, you know, and even mundane, making it more exciting. So yeah, that was a special thing for me. I think we should ask the last two questions. Sorry, I had more there, but somebody's asking, are you going to walk the Ebbw Way? I know the Ebbw Way. It's not on my current radar, but every live session I get asked, am I going to walk this or that? And my answer is, like, I'll walk as much as I can until I can't keep walking. So stay tuned.
Are we starting wild walks again soon?
Probably definitely looking at next year. I would like to be working towards, I think I can put this out there, I'm quite confident. So before lockdown sort of hit, I would always do a New Year's Day walk. I find New Year's quite a challenging time, and for me, when I feel like I'm struggling, the general thing I do is either start a business or just do whatever I can to help others. It's just part of how I work, really, and I want to try and run that again. So I think a New Year's Day walk is going to be on the radar. Probably not, maybe down here, but maybe a little bit further north, just as tiny bit more accessible. It's nothing major. It's always a really short walk just to give people time to travel and stuff. But yeah,
have a bit of a good experience together.
Yeah, probably, right? And then usually wild walks I sort of tend to start in sort of March time, January, February, March. End of March, early April is sort of when the light changes and we can have a proper good day out. So they will definitely be on the cards. Hopefully next year, early next year, there'll be things out for the year. That's what I'm sort of working towards. So it's not going to be quite as intense and back to back as this trip was, but there will be opportunities, and I'm looking to evolve that. So that's that. Last question I think we've got time for now. How would you say the whole experience changed you?
I think it's too early to say that. As I alluded to earlier, there's so much reflection happening right now, and it's only, we've literally today had the first hour where we're both in a space where we could talk to each other about the trip, and how certain things were for us individually. So we're only getting into the processing time of realizing how it has changed us, and I don't know whether you have anything else to add, but I would say it's too early to say. There's just a lot.
Yeah, I think for me, like I've voiced a number of times, that there have been some real tangible changes within me, but trying to put them into words because they're so personal. Like what goes on deep down inside of us, like you can try and tell someone, but they're never going to know where the clogs really start shifting. You might seem a little bit different on the outside. You might approach something a little bit differently. But also, I think I find it quite hard. I feel like two different people, really, when I'm on the trail and when I'm here. And what I'm really trying to do is empower myself to be more like the person who I admire and enjoy being on the trail when I'm here. And what's been really cool is, we've shuffled the house around a little bit, right? We're trying to just change it up. Because the thing is, you go on a trip like this, and like I said in a Patreon post, or I've said before about hiking, like if you go away on a trip like this, we're all a piece of a puzzle, right? You get changed in shape and you come back, and the slot you were in is you're never gonna fit. It's gonna be different. It may be little, it may be big. And I feel like for me, it's quite big, and possibly for you as well. But just settling into that and sort of finding a slot now on how we can fit in with it. That's the bit, and that can become quite like grasping, and I think that's possibly why a lot of people struggle with like post trip depression and blues, or whatever you want to call it. People use different phrases because it's just like you can't connect with the life you left because you're different.
I think that is what is so nice, that we were on this together and that we kind of came into this house from the same sort of just moving out of another very settled environment and into here, and everything was kind of just dumped wherever we could find space, because the space is something we're lacking. And now coming back, and we both have the motivation of sorting through stuff, getting rid of stuff that we don't need, because also suddenly the house feels bigger because it's so much bigger than the van. But also the van has showed us that there's really no need to keep things that we haven't used for a couple of years, and they kind of just lie heavy on our hearts, on our shoulders, and we both want to kind of create a new, slightly different and stable and safe environment. So that is really nice.
Yeah. And that's what we've been doing. We haven't had a lot of time here, but when we have, it has been shuffling. It has been putting things in charity shop bags. It's been moving stuff out. And I think we can sort of see the difference. We're getting there. But yeah, it's cool. And, the thing is, if we look at the whole picture of what we want to sort of do with the next few months, like there's no point getting out of bed. Like it's too overwhelming. And that's why we're literally just taking it day by day. And I think that's, to be honest, that's how we've lived on the trip, and that's how we live at our best. It's just day by day, you know, feeling into what's right, feeling into what we can be most efficient and effective in, getting the stuff done that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And yeah, having a good times where we can, watching the Bake Off, which is what we're gonna do now. No, you know, this has been a very long live session, but I'm actually really glad about that. Are you glad about that?
Yeah.
I think this has been really cool.
There's just no way we could have squeezed even half of this into an hour.
It wouldn't do it justice, you know.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It was a long old trip, and there's a lot of things to give away, to change, to reflect on, and this is not a half an hour show, is it?
No, it is not. Listen, guys, there's going to be a lot more live sessions coming up. Bear with me. I'm not jumping straight onto YouTube uploads, but they will be coming our way very soon. All of that shared across socials. If you have enjoyed following Abbie Bikes Britain, then please continue to stay up to date across socials as well. We've got a lot more coming your way.
Tell your friends about it.
Get out on the bike, get out hiking, tell us about how you're getting on. We love hearing from you. If you feel like you'd like to join our community, the online space, but very, very soon becoming also offline, on the ground, real life, people to people, love it. That is patreon.com/spend more time in the wild. Jeez, I'm so used to Abbie Bikes Britain now. That's Patreon, patreon.com/spend more time in the wild. Join us. It'd be lovely to welcome you. And otherwise, just keep being you. Awesome people. I'm food deprived. What more do you expect from me at 9:10 in the evening? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to you. It's been always good.
No, thank you. Lots of love to all of you. It's been a good hangout here.
Yeah. What can we say? Until next time, enjoy your adventures. Stay wild. See you guys. Tune it out. Bye.